ఒక విశిష్ట అతిథి మనకు లభించాడు. ఆయన మంచి నిష్ణాతుడు ఈ సబ్జెక్ట్ లో, బాగా తెలిసినటువంటి వారు, క్షుణ్ణంగా పరిశీలించాడు. మనకు ఈరోజు క్లాస్ తీసుకుంటాడు. మీరందరూ వినాల్సిందిగా కోరుతున్నాను.
Evening to everybody. So today we are going to discuss the theory behind the childbirth, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for childbirth, fifth cusp, that is very, very important. Now fifth cusp, you know, gives lot many significations. Like one is related to the potency, the procreative power of a man, the sex of a child, the health and longevity of a child, and of course the childbirth. Apart from this, from fifth cusp, it is also related to certain professional matters. Like if we look into the various professional matters related to it, entertainment is one part, sports is the other part, right? Dance is the third part, and so on and so forth. In addition to this, you know, the fifth cusp also lets us to know about the gains in speculation, whether we are going to gain or we are going to lose, right? Now, our topic today is childbirth, and for the childbirth, what is important? The fifth cuspal subsublord is very, very important. Now, on the basis of which fifth cuspal sublord that we have with us, now we will first of all look into what the fifth cuspal sublord is giving us, what the fifth cuspal sublord is telling us, and from the fifth cuspal sublord, what significations that we can draw regarding the childbirth. Now, for a childbirth to happen, the significations have to be related to the second cusp, the fifth cusp, and the 11th cusp. Second cusp means addition to family. Fifth cusp relates to the procreative power and potency. Also, it tells us about the sex of a child, whether it's a male or it's a female child that is going to happen. Apart from this, it tells us about the health and longevity of a child. In addition to this, whether a child will really come or there can be a mishap, like abortions can be there. Again, it can be known from the fifth house. Then the 11th house promises the childbirth, whether the fulfillment of the promise of childbirth is there or not. That we can know from the 11th house. Now, in order to understand all this, the first part that is very, very important is what we do is we first of all check the potency and the procreative power of a man or a female. It means both the partners, the procreative power of both the partners. If it gives us positive results, we can say a childbirth can happen. Otherwise, if there are problems or if there are certain unfavorable cusp, like 4th and 12th are there, along with 8th cusp, it means that along with 10th cusp, what does it mean? That the childbirth cannot happen, or maybe there is a delay in the childbirth, or maybe some kind of mishap may occur, that is abortions can occur. Now, for fifth cuspal sublord, the first part which is prime importance to us is to check the potency and the procreative power. Now, in order to have an idea about the potency and the procreative power, what is important to us? The importance is that first of all, we just note down the fifth cuspal subsublord, and then we read the significations of the fifth cuspal subsublord through its star lord and its sublord. Through the star lord, we can know about the involvement of the cusp, and through the sublord, we can know about the commitment And both the star lord and sub lord gives us an idea about the promise for a particular event, whether it will happen or it will not happen. Suppose we are talking about the procreative power. We are trying to study the potency because that is the first and the prime important part. If we are trying to study the potency or the procreative part of the man or the woman whose chart is with us, how do we know that the native can reproduce or he cannot reproduce? Now, what is important here? The fifth cuspal sub-lord should involve either the second house and may commit to 5 and 11, or it involves the 11th house and commits to 2 and 5, or it involves the second house and commits to 5 and 11. If this condition is there, sometimes the fifth cusp is missing, and in such a case, when the fifth cusp is missing, even then it doesn't make any difference if 5 involves commits to 2 and 11, or if 2 involves and commits to 11, or if 11 involves and commit to 2, it means the addition of a child is likely to happen to the family. Now, this is how it means that the given person has got enough potency, or the given person has got a procreative power to give his progeny. Now, the potency for the childbirth never ensures that a child is likely to happen. Now, this is very important. See, when you check about the potency, or you check about the procreative power, then you may get positive results by linking of 5th to 2nd and 11, by linking of 2nd to 11, or by linking of 11 to 2nd, or by linking of 2nd to 5 11, or 5 to 2 and 11. But that would not ensure that you are definitely going to have a childbirth. Then the question is, when you will have the childbirth? It is only possible when there is a suitable dasha, bhukti, antara, sukshma and prana running, and the transit that favors the childbirth. Only then the childbirth that can happen. Is it clear, please? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any doubts? Now, this is the first part. Now, the second part is that we need to know what is the sex of the child, whether the given child is a male or is a female. Then how do we do it? Now, there are many different methods which have been quoted, on the basis of which we can know whether the given child is a male or is a female. The first simple method is, what we do is, we just note down the co-rulers of the fifth cusp. Now, we can have 4 co-rulers of the fifth cusp. One is the sign lord, other is the star lord, the third is the sub lord, and the fourth is sub lord. And then what we do is, by noting down all these co-rulers, we see as to in which sign they are placed in the bhava chart. Now, suppose the sign lord is placed in male sign, the star lord is placed in female sign, again the sub lord is placed in male sign, and the sub lord is placed in male sign. So predominantly we are having 3 results in favor of male and 1 result in favor of female. So we can say, I don't say with absolute accuracy, but you can say that there is more probability of getting a male child. Apart from that, the second simple method, how we can know about the sex of a child, is what we do is, we look at the 5th cuspal sub-lord, and then we look at the sub-lord of the 5th cuspal sub-lord. And then the sub-lord of the 5th cuspal sub-lord is placed in a particular sign in a bhava chart. And that sign, whether it is male or it is a female, if it is a male, we say male progeny is likely to be there. If it is a female sign, we say a female is likely to be there. That is another method. Now, the third method here, again for making a prediction regarding male or female child is that the fifth cuspal subsublord, it rises in a particular sign, and that particular sign is, suppose you say that it rises in, let me say that I say that it rises in the fifth cusp rises at 12 degrees 22 minutes 46 seconds in Virgo sign. Suppose, it's just I'm taking for the example. Suppose that the fifth cusp that rises at 12 degrees 22 minutes 46 seconds in Virgo sign. Now, this Virgo sign, what does this mean? That the fifth cusp subsublord is in a particular sub, and that sub is in a particular sub. So here for this given value, for this given degrees, 12 degree 22 minute 46 minutes in Virgo sign, Jupiter rules this point. And the sub of Jupiter, it is known to start from 12 degree 11 minutes 20 seconds, and it ends at 12 degrees 27 minutes and 20 seconds. Which means if you just look into this value, approximately 15 minutes time interval is there. Now half of the 15 means 12 11 plus half of the 15 is 7.5. 12 11 add 15 to it add 7 to it, it gives you 12 18. Now what did I say? That the fifth cusp that rises at 12 degrees 22 minutes, which means it is in the second half. Now here, what is important? I think when I practically discuss the chart with you, this point will be more clear. Now, if the sub that rises in the first half, then it's a male child, and if it rises in the second half, it is a female child. So this is another way, how you can have an approximate, how you can make a guess, or you can say that, because I won't say it's a 100% sure shot rule, but yet on this basis you can know what is the sex of a child, right? So now I think to discuss all these points, then again there is one more point, that if the fifth cuspal subsublord and 11th cuspal subsublords, they are rising in a male sign, you say it's a male, and if they are rising in a female sign, you say it's a female. This is how the determination of the sex of the child is done. Now this is an approximate method. I won't say that you can say with 100% surety that it is going to be a male or it is going to be a female. Then one more simple method is here. Look at the fifth cuspal subsublord. Again see the subsublord of the fifth cuspal subsublord, and then see in the Bhava chart, it rises in which sign. If it is male sign, it's a male, and if it rises in a female sign, it is a female. Is it clear, please? Is it clear?
Sir, if we do an example, I think it will be easier for us to understand.
So, that is very true, because the moment I discuss the chart, that becomes much easier to understand.
Yes.
Much easier to understand. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
Any other questions?
I think while doing the chart example, we'll get a lot of questions will be raised, sir.
Okay. So,
thank you, sir.
This is the horary chart that has been casted, and here what we need to know is the childbirth, the date for the childbirth. That is one part. Secondly, we need to know the time at which the child will come to home. That is the second part. Now, how do we analyze the chart? When you got charts like that, how do we analyze it? Now, the first part here is that we shall look into the fifth cuspal subsublord, right? So, from the fifth cuspal subsublord, now in the present chart, since the procreative power, it is the chart is that when will the child come to home? That is the question. That when will be the child delivered? That is the question. So in such cases, when the question is that when the child will come home or when there is going to be the delivery of the child, then in such cases, we need not check the ascendant, we need not check the 5th cuspal sub-sublord, and we need not check the 11th cuspal sub-sublord. The reason is simple, because already the pregnancy has happened, means there was a promise for the child. So the ascendant must have given the promise, then only the child would have happened. Secondly, the 5th cuspal sub-sublord also gives a promise, and the 11th cuspal sub-sublord also has given a promise, and the result is that the procreative power and the potency of the native is established. That is one part. And secondly, we need not to recheck again the 5th cuspal sub-sublord and try to read it. So there is no need for it, because the query is simple, that when the delivery of the child is likely to happen. Is it clear, please? Now suppose if somebody would have asked us that when is the child, or when I will get the child, then in such cases we need to check the ascendant sub-sublord. It should give a promise for the child, means the ascendant sub-sublord should be linked to the 2nd cusp, 5th or 11th cusp. The 5th cuspal sub-sublord should also be linked to 2, 5 and 11, and of course the 11th cuspal sub-sublord should give a promise for the childbirth. Then in such cases, we look into the details for the ascendant, and that is, when will the child be added to the family or come to home, and Rahu here placed in 2nd cusp, that gives a promise for it. So the query of this, the query happens to be genuine. That is one part. Now the second part here is that since we are talking here about that when will the child come back to home. So what we need to do is, we need to check the Dasha, Bhukti, Antara, Sukshma and Prana on 8th of March 2006. Now on 8th of March 2006, if you just look at the Dasha, Bhukti, Antara, Sukshma and Prana, now there is no need to check the Dasha Lord, the Bhukti Lord. The only point is that we need to proceed from Antara, Sukshma and Prana. Now in the present case, if you just look at the Antara Lord, the Antara Lord will run from 7/2/2006 to 12/4/2006. Means it will run for approximately 2 months. And since it will run for approximately 2 months, as the querist has asked that when will the child come to home or when will the delivery happen, then the delivery of a child is not going to take such a long period of time for 2 months to happen. So the delivery has to happen either within 5 days, 6 days or 7 days, at the most within the 10 days. So thereby, in the present chart, there is no need to look into details for Dasha, Bhukti and Antara. But anyhow, if you still want to check, then if you look at Rahu, now Rahu is in the star of Saturn, sub of Sun and sub-sub of Rahu. Rahu here is in the star of Saturn, sub of Sun and sub-sub of Rahu. And here Rahu, see, as per the stellar status, it will give the results of Saturn, and Saturn is in the 2nd and 11th cusp, co-ruler of 2nd and 11th cusp. That is enough to understand, that is enough to know that Rahu promises the childbirth. Similarly, we can check for Ketu, similarly we can check for Mercury. But in the present case, in such cases, there is no need to check the Dasha, Bhukti and Antara. So our main and prime focus here has to be on the Sukshma Lord and the Prana Lord as per the query. Now, whether we start from Antara or we start from Sukshma, or we start from Prana, it all depends upon the type of a question that has been put to us. Suppose any person gets married and immediately after his marriage, within next 2, 3, 4, 5 months, so he thinks of when he is most likely to have an issue. Then in such cases, we need to check the Dasha, Bhukti, Antara, Sukshma and Prana. We need to check Dasha, Bhukti and Antara, because Dasha, Bhukti and Antara here becomes very, very important, because childbirth can happen in a period of about 270 days. Thereby is approximately near to 1 year. So thereby, in such cases, our focus has to be on Dasha, Bhukti, Antara and finally Sukshma and Prana. Is this point clear, please? Any questions to be asked? Any questions, please?
No,
Or should I proceed further?
clear, sir.
Okay. Now here, the important point now here is that since the question is when will child happen, we have to focus upon Sukshma and Prana. Now, it is a really, it is tough sometimes to pinpoint the exact Sukshma and Prana. How to find out that which has to be Sukshma, the appropriate Sukshma and the appropriate Prana for the child birth. Now if you look here, Mercury Antara will give us almost 9 Sukshma. And those 9 Sukshmas are likely to give, each Sukshma is likely to give 9 Pranas. So there are approximately 81 combinations that we are likely to have. Now from amongst these 81 combinations which are likely to have, how we can find out that which combination is the appropriate one when we are likely to have the result or when the event is likely to happen. So in this case, what you need to do, how to identify the appropriate Sukshma and appropriate Prana. So what we do is, first of all, in such cases, we have to put down the script for all the planets. Is it clear, please? The script for all the planets is through the sign lord, star lord, sublord and sub-sublord. Sign lord is not to be taken, star lord, sublord and sub-sublord. Star lord, sublord, involvement, commitment, that is the promise for the event, and final confirmation is whether the event is likely to happen or is not going to happen. Now, if you thoroughly go through the script of all the planets, that is one part. And secondly, if you look at the cuspal co-rulers of the second cusp, the cuspal co-rulers of the second cusp are Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury and Rahu. Right? It is Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury and Rahu.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, the point is that among the 9 planets that we have with us, which can be the appropriate Sukshma for this event to happen? Now, from amongst the 9 planets, we find here that the cuspal co-rulers of the second cusp are Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury and Rahu. Right? The query is, when will be the child added to the family? It means that in such cases, our main focus has to be on the second cusp co-rulers. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Which in other words and simple words would mean that it is only Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury and Rahu, 4 planets, which can be the Sukshma lords. See here, this is very important. See, one gets trapped while identifying a suitable Sukshma or Prana. I already pointed out there are as many as 81 combinations. And out of these 81 combinations, which is likely to be the most appropriate combination? Now, in such cases, suppose the question was that when would the child happen? Then we would focus on the 5th cuspal sublord. Here the question is, when the child will be added to the family, so our main and prime focus has to be on the second cuspal co-rulers, which are Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and Rahu. Now, this is one shortcut method. How you could know that which can be the appropriate Sukshma. Otherwise, what you do is, if you look at the Mercury Antra, if you look at the Mercury Antra, now Mercury Antra will start with Mercury Sukshma, then Ketu, then Venus, then Sun, then Moon, then Mars, then Rahu, then Jupiter, then Saturn. Which among these is the best one? Which among these is the one that we need to select? So here, in such cases, we should focus upon the second cuspal co-rulers, which are Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and Rahu. Now, then we have to proceed in a systematic manner right from Mercury up to Saturn. Now, if you look here, Mercury is the first one. So, Mercury Sukshma could have been selected, but this is not taken. Why? Because the question of the queries is on 8th of March 2006 and Mercury Sukshma has already passed on 24th to 2006. So, no question of having Mercury as Sukshma. Ketu is nowhere as second cusp co-ruler. Venus is nowhere as second cusp co-ruler. Sun is nowhere second cusp co-ruler. Then Moon is not there as second cusp co-ruler. Mars is not there as second cusp co-ruler. Rahu is there, the second cusp co-ruler. Now here, the best Sukshma that can be selected is Rahu. And the other two we are left with is Jupiter and Saturn. So three Sukshmas we are left with, which are the appropriate ones which we can select. Jupiter Sukshma, if you look here, it will run from 27th of March to 3rd of April 2006, which means starting from 8 up to 3rd of April, it means almost 1 month. Is this point clear, please? Similarly, Saturn will run up to from 3rd of April to 12th of April. Both these Sukshmas are going to take a long period of time. Thereby, here we will focus only upon the Rahu as Sukshma Lord, because in this particular order it comes before Jupiter and Saturn. Now, whenever we have to follow the sequence, then what we do is we proceed right from Mercury to Saturn, and then on the basis of first come first serve. So Rahu comes first, Mercury comes first, time has passed. Then comes Rahu, appropriate one. The child can come to home. Jupiter and Saturn we are not selecting, because Jupiter and Saturn would mean from the date of query up to the date when Jupiter and Saturn are to run, it's almost 1 month or more than 1 month. Now, such a long delay in childbirth is not likely to happen. So, Rahu is the appropriate Sukshma here in the present case, because Rahu is, number one, the strongest one. It is the sub-lord of the second cusp, and it is, if you look at the significations of Rahu, then Rahu is in Rahu sub-sub. Rahu as sub-sub is giving us 2, 5 and 11 with no negative cusp involved. That is why Rahu is the Sukshma Lord in the present chart. Any questions, please? Murthy ji,
sir.
आप पूछ लीजिए से अगर कोई क्वेश्चंस है पूछने का.
No, sir. Proceed, sir.
Okay. So
they will ask.
Okay. So Rahu is the Sukshma Lord, right? Now
Yes.
now after selecting the Sukshma Lord, the next important point is to select the Prana Lord. Now, which can be the suitable Prana Lord out of these 9 pranas that we are likely to have? Now, how do we select the Prana Lord here? Now, what is important here is that while making a selection of the Prana Lord here, Now we have to also focus upon the transit also. So the transit of the sun, transit of moon, transit of Jupiter. Now in the present case, since it's a matter of days, our prime focus here will be on the transit of moon. The moon should transit in a favorable sign, in a favorable star, in a favorable sub, and a favorable sub-sub. That is, the star, the sign, the star, the sub, and the sub-sub should signify 2, 5, and 11. And if they all signify 2, 5, and 11, that particular planet can be selected as a prana lord. So to select the prana lord, what is important? Number one, that the prana lord should be linked to the primary cusp. That is very important. And the primary cusp in the present case is fifth cusp. In addition to this, the prana lord should also be significator of the supporting cusp, which are 2 and 11. Now, if you read the script of these planets, what you find is Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, Rahu, they are 4 planets which are co-rulers of the second cusp. Mercury, Mars, Ketu, and Rahu, these are 4 planets which are the co-rulers of fifth cusp. Now here, the prana lord has to be the significator of the prime cusp, and the prime cusp here is the fifth cusp. And the co-rulers of the fifth cusp, they are Mercury, Mars, Ketu, and Rahu. Now Mercury, Mars, Ketu, and Rahu. So how do we select then? How do we select that among these, which is the best one? For Rahu, first of all, we'll be having a Rahu prana. Now I would reject it. Your question would be that how could I reject this? What is the logic behind rejecting it? If you look at Rahu, Rahu is in Saturn star, Sun sub. Now if you look at Sun, Sun is neither in 2, nor in 5, nor in 11. And since Sun is neither in 5, nor in 2, nor in 11, thereby Rahu cannot be selected as the prana lord. Is this point clear, please?
So please repeat once again, sir.
Okay, I just repeat it. First tell me one thing. Is it clear about the Sukshma Lord? How do we select the Sukshma Lord?
Yes, sir.
Right? Any doubt about the Sukshma Lord? For
No.
Sukshma Lord, the simple method is, without bothering much, because otherwise if you try to calculate all the significations of the different planets and then try to find out, every planet is likely to give some positive cusp, and at the same time is likely to give certain unfavorable cusp, and thereby all the 9 planets that you are likely to have Sukshma Lord, they will give us favorable as well as unfavorable cusp. Then it becomes very, very difficult to know that which one is the best significator out of all this. So the best part to this is that since the query is about child coming to home, thereby focus only upon the second cusp co-rulers, which are Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and Rahu. Right? So Jupiter, Saturn, Mercury, and Rahu, and we have already found that Rahu is the best one because Mercury has already passed before the query was asked. Jupiter and Saturn, they will come after Rahu, thereby Rahu comes first, so we have to select Rahu as the Sukshma Lord. Now the question is about the Prana Lord. Rahu Sukshma would mean that Rahu will be the first prana that we are likely to have. Now I am going to reject it. The question is, why do I reject it? The answer is simple, that if you look at the significations, if you look at the planetary position of Rahu, Rahu is in Saturn star. Rahu is in Saturn star. Saturn is giving us 2 and 11, fine. It is in Sun sub. and Sun is neither giving us 2 nor 5 nor 11, means it is not giving us any cusp, a favorable cusp that is responsible for the childbirth. Thereby we will reject the Rahu Prana. So Rahu Prana cannot be selected because of Sun, because Sun is nowhere in 2, nowhere in 5, nowhere in 11. Is it clear, please? Neither in
Yes, sir.
2, nor in 5, nor in 11. Now the next
Yes,
one
sir.
is Jupiter. Okay.
Sir,
Now the next one. Next.
Sir,
sir, the
Yes, yes.
question,
Kapilji,
हाँ जी
why
हाँ जी
did
पूछो
we,
while doing the selecting the while selecting this one, the Sukshma Lord,
हाँ हाँ
we are saying
राहु है सूक्ष्म
yes sir.
हाँ ओके
While selecting this one, this Sukshma Lord,
और
we are taking the second cusp core rulers.
yes second why second cusp over what does second cusp indicate addition to family
Addition to the family.
addition to family means when will the child come to home, right? And what is the query? When
Sir,
will the childbirth happen?
Yes sir.
That is
And
why
sir,
we are focusing on the second cusp co-rulers.
due to the addition of the family, you have to.
Yes. That's the reason.
That
That
is
is why
okay,
we are
right?
focusing. I'm just giving you a short method, how to find out. Otherwise, what you will have to do is you will have to write down the script of all the planets. All the planets will mean Sun in Jupiter star, Mercury sub, Moon sub. Then Moon in Rahu star, Ketu sub and Mercury sub. Mars in Moon star, Saturn sub and Mercury sub. Mercury in Jupiter star, you will have to write down. And then what you need to do is you will have to check their cuspal positions here. That say for example Sun is present in fourth, Sun is in fourth as fourth star lord, eighth star lord, and then it is in 10th sub lord. It is nowhere present in 2, nowhere present in 5, nowhere present in 11. Thereby Sun cannot be a significator for the childbirth. It will play no role as far as the transit is concerned. Any planet
Sir, it
which
is
does not
it is following by the transit chart or natal chart.
No. Natal chart. I'm talking about the natal chart. See, transit तो बाद की बात है. Transit will come later on. First of all, on the basis of the script of these planets, we have to find out that which planet has a good potency, which planet has a good strength to give the childbirth. Only then we can proceed further. So for this you have to write down the script of all the planets. Script of all the planets would mean what? Say for example, I take the first case, Sun. Sun has no PS, am I right?
Yes sir.
Sun will give the result, stellar results, will give the results of its star lord, Jupiter. And Jupiter, if you look, it is second sign lord and it is 11th sign lord. It is 12th sign lord, am I right?
Yes sir.
yes, sir.
It is also present in 6. It is also present in 6. It is also present as 8 sub lord. Right? So if you look at the script of the Jupiter, Jupiter will be second sign lord, 6th star lord, 8th sub lord, 11th sign lord, 12th sign lord, and in addition to this, Jupiter is posited in 9th cusp, so it is a virtual sub lord of 9th. Am I right?
Yes.
Now that is the script of this planet, Jupiter. Similarly, you write it for Mercury. Mercury, if you look, it is in 2, it is in 5th cusp, it is in 6th cusp, it is in 7th cusp, it is in 8th cusp, and then Mercury is virtual sub lord of 1st cusp. That is script of Mercury. And then if you take the case of Moon, Moon is 1st cusp sub lord and 7th cusp sub lord. Am I right? So now when you see the significations of Sun, you have to focus on Jupiter, Mercury and Moon. Jupiter gives us 2 and 11. Mercury is giving us 2 and 5. And Moon is nowhere in 2, nowhere in 5, nowhere in 7. It means the final confirmation is no. And till final confirmation is yes, childbirth cannot happen. So Sun cannot appropriately play any role in Dasha, Bhukti, Antara, Sukshma as far as the childbirth is concerned. Is this point clear, please?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any doubts?
So one
हाँ हाँ
question.
बोलिए,
sir.
हाँ हाँ बोले बोले, पूछिए
So
पूछिए, ask questions.
the logic that we have put at
Okay.
the selection of prana,
Okay, yes,
that is, we have rejected Rahu.
yes.
Why we have not rejected Rahu at Sukshma level?
Look here. Now that is the point. You know, Sukshma Lord पे हमने इसको reject क्यों नहीं किया? Because Sukshma Lord should be the planet that is linked to second cusp, that is linked to fifth cusp, right? If you read the script of Rahu,
Correct, sir. Understood.
okay, understood. Now, again, one more point I want to add. If you read the script of Rahu, Rahu is in Saturn. Rahu is in Saturn star. No, I'm sorry. Rahu is in Saturn star, Sun sub, and Rahu sub sub. Am I
Rahu
right?
is representing both Saturn and Jupiter, so we can take
Yes.
Rahu directly
Yes.
instead of Jupiter.
Yes. Yes. Do you get it now?
Why we
That is the
cannot
point.
apply the same rule at prana level?
Now, prana level may, because see, prana lord should be the one which should give us no negative cusp. That is one part. No unfavorable
Okay.
cusp are to be there. That is one.
Jupiter has
Number
got
one.
negative cusp and Saturn
Yes.
has got negative cusp. Understood. sir.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, should I proceed further?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then from Rahu, I rejected Rahu Prana, right? And I think he followed that why Rahu Prana is rejected. Then the next one is Jupiter. Now, why Jupiter Prana is rejected?
Negative.
Because 8th
Jupiter.
house is
Negative.
No.
negative-
8th house has nothing to do with it. 8th house means there can be some operation, or it can be a cesarean birth, or it can be something
Yes.
related to hospitalization. So it has nothing to do with it. Right? Now, why Jupiter Prana is rejected? Now, if you look at the script of Jupiter, Jupiter has a PS. It signifies second cusp as a sign lord, 11th cusp as a sign lord. Fine? Jupiter is in
Yes, sir.
Jupiter star. And Jupiter star is again the same thing. It is in Mercury sub. It is in Mercury sub. And Mercury is again giving us 2 and 5. Second sublord, Mercury is again giving us 2 and 5. Second sublord and fifth sign lord, right?
Yes, sir.
And then it is in Mars sub-sub. Jupiter is in Mars sub-sub. Now, why see that it is giving us significations of 2 and 5 and still we are rejecting it? What is the reason for it? The simple answer to this question is that if you look at the Mars sub-sub, that Mars is strong, is a sub-sub lord of fourth cusp. And being a sub-sub lord of fourth cusp, it negates the fifth cusp. I already pointed out that Prana Lord has to be a planet that should give us the primary cusp plus the supporting cusp, and in addition to this, it should not give us unfavorable cusp. And here, the unfavorable cusp is given by Mars, which is fourth sub-sub lord. That is why the Jupiter Prana is also rejected. Any questions, please?
Yes.
Right? Is it clear?
Sir,
Now, this is very important.
Sir, if there is a chance,
Hanji.
sir, if there is a chance to give the negation or planets in this particular case,
Okay.
what we do?
No. Negation to all planets. Now, what are the negative or unfavorable cusp for the childbirth? One is 4.
4, 12,
Okay.
and 8.
Other is 12.
Yes.
If you get 4 and 12, see, look here, if you are getting 4 and 12, it means there is a delay in childbirth. If you are getting 4 and 12, there is a delay in childbirth. And if you are getting 4th, 12 and 10th, then it means there is no childbirth. Because it negates the procreative power.
Sir, you simply rejected only 4 and 12. Suppose if you are
Yeah.
having the all planets, 9 planas, what we do?
No. I am talking about all the 9 planets. See, any
In
planet
case-
has to be in a particular star. That is involvement. Okay, then it is in a sub, that is commitment. What is important? The sublord and the sub-sublord, they should not be the significators of the unfavorable cusp. And if they are strong significators of the unfavorable cusp, like being the sublord or the sub-sublord, then that event cannot happen. Suppose it is a sign lord, event is possible. If it is a star lord, event is not possible. If it is a sublord or if it is a sub-sublord, then that event will not happen. Try to understand this point. Now, this is very, very important. When we talk about the prana lord or the sukshma lord, now these two planets, they should they should be strong significators of the primary cusp. सूक्ष्म लॉर्ड में प्राइमरी कस्प सेकंड है हमारा, addition to family. That is why the focus is mainly upon the second. For prana lord, we are talking about the childbirth, when the child is likely to happen. Then in such cases, the primary cusp is fifth, and the signification and the supporting cusp, they are 2 and 11. Whenever you write down the script of all the planets, then which are unfavorable cusp? For fifth, it is fourth. Look here, 4th, 8th, and 12th are always unfavorable cusp. 4th to any cusp, 8th to any cusp, and 12th to any cusp, they are always the most unfavorable cusp. 8 and 12 are 100%, and the 4th cusp is 70% bad. 70% unfavorable, 30% favorable. So that's that. That is why, in certain charts, what you find is that when the 4th cusp to the primary cusp operates, then sometimes the events do happen. There are many charts where the events are likely to happen. Any queries, please? Any questions?
Sir,
Hanji.
the potency and procreative power of the childbirth, we are discussing about the 2-5-11. Is there any requirement to discuss about the 8th cusp?
No, 8th cusp is what connection?
So, say,
आप देखो ना,
yes, sir.
5th से 8th 4th है. If you look at the 8th cusp, it is 4th to 5th cusp. 70% bad for the 5th cusp.
Sir, recently we discussed about this same type of chart. The Charisab discussed with the 8th cusp.
Okay. We will discuss it, by taking some other chart. Right? So let us first of all complete this chart and then we'll talk about the other one. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Now, is this clear up to this point that why Rahu is rejected, why Jupiter is rejected?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now the next one is Saturn. It is again rejected. Can anyone tell why it is rejected?
Same reason.
Why
Negation.
Saturn is rejected?
Have connected with negative houses.
Negation.
No, it's not like. No. You look here, Saturn is in Moon sub. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
And Moon is nowhere significator of 2, 5, 11.
Okay.
Right? So there is
Yes.
no commitment. There is no commitment, therefore it is rejected.
Good.
And what about Mercury? Can we select it?
Yes, sir.
No. Mercury is again in Moon sub. Moon is nowhere significator of 2, 5, 11.
Okay, sir.
So it is rejected. Right?
Yes.
Then next comes Ketu. Now the question is, can you select Ketu?
No, sir. Again, it's moon. No, sir.
No. Here Moon is a star lord. In Ketu, Moon is a star lord. Therefore, it is present in 5th position.
Ketu is
Fifth
also in
sub-lord.
Sublord, it is in sublord also, sir.
No. Sublord bunching is to be done. It is in Moon star, Saturn sub, and Venus sub.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So then why Ketu is rejected? See, Ketu is a strong significator of 2, 5, 11. And Ketu gives 2, 5, 11 through Mercury and Moon. Ketu is the representative planets of Ketu are Mercury and Moon. Moon is not significator of 2, 5, and 11, but Mercury is 2 and 5.
2, 5, 11. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ketu is 5, 11. Therefore, Ketu is 2, 5, and 11. Right? Now, why Ketu is rejected? Any good reasons for rejecting Ketu here? Now, what did I point out? That the prana lord has to be a significator of fifth cusp. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Right? If you look at Ketu, Ketu is in which sub? Ketu is in Venus sub. Right?
Yes,
And
sir.
Venus is only significator of which cusp? 11th sublord. It is neither in 2 nor in 5. See, look here. Ketu is giving us 2, 5, and 11. Right? Ketu has PS. It is giving us 2, 5, 11. Fine. Now Ketu is in Ketu sub, Ketu star, because it has PS. So therefore it will be either in Moon sub or it will be in Saturn sub and Venus sub. There are two ways, you can carry on. Ketu here has a PS, so Ketu is as good as in Ketu star. Now if it is Ketu star I take, then it is in Moon sub. And if it is Moon sub, then it has to be rejected because 2, 5, and 11 are not there. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is it fine? So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
so the next one is Venus. Now, will you select Venus?
Venus.
Will you select Venus?
So Venus is not showing the 2, 5. 2.
No, it signifies 11, sir. Venus.
11.
11.
Venus जो है सिर्फ 11 का promise दे रहा है. It is not giving promise of 2 and 5, so it will be rejected.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Reject.
Next is Sun.
Sun also same.
नहीं, Sun is giving us a promise of 2, 5, and 11. Promises 2, 5, and 11 is there through Jupiter and Mercury. Then why Sun is rejected? Sun is in Jupiter star.
Sun is okay. Jupiter, Mercury.
Jupiter, Mercury, and Moon.
Yes, sir.
Moon.
Okay, Moon sub, and Moon sub nowhere in 2, 5, 11. Therefore, this is also rejected.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear? Then what about Moon?
Moon also same. Already they, rejected.
नहीं, पर Moon significations तो दे रहा है ना. Moon is giving us significations of 2, 5, and 11.
बताइए sir.
Moon will not participate in transit. Why? Because it is not giving us 2, 5, and 11. See, look here, if you look at the significations, there are two planets in the entire script. One is Sun and the other one is Moon, which cannot participate in the transits, which cannot participate to be Dasha, Bhukti, Antara, Sukshma, and Prana. Any planet that will not give significations of 2, 5, and 11 cannot be a part of Dasha, Bhukti, Antara, Sukshma, and Prana. So Moon here, just a moment please. Hello? Okay. Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Moon here is rejected. Why? Because Moon is not appearing in 2, 5, and 11. That is why Moon is rejected. It is not linked to primary cusp. The planet has to be linked to primary cusp, or either it has to be a very strong significator. Is it clear? Is it clear or not?
But as you told, this is the strong significator.
Hanji.
Why do you reject it? Why do you reject it?
Look here. Now, moon, you know, there have to be two conditions. Moon here will not play any role in Dasha, Bhukti, Antara, Sukshma and Prana, neither sun nor moon. Why it is so? The answer is that any planet that will not signify 2, 5 and 11 cannot be a part of Dasha, Bhukti, Antara, Sukshma and Prana. It's a universal rule. It's a universal rule which you need to follow. Any planet that is not a significator of 2, 5 and 11 cannot play any role as far as Dasha, Bhukti, Antara, Sukshma and Prana is concerned. That is, they cannot be either Dasha or Bhukti or Antara or Sukshma or Prana. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now we are left with which? Prana, only Mars Prana, right?
Yes, sir.
Which means that the childbirth will happen on 27th of March 2006 from 5:39:15 to 17:03:50. That is the time period in which the childbirth can happen. Is it clear?
Sir,
Is
but
it
again,
clear?
Mars is also not promising, right, sir?
Hanji, is it clear?
Sir, again, Mars is also not promising, right?
Mars क्यों promise नहीं कर रहा? Mars तो promise कर रहा है.
Because it is in the star of moon. We already rejected moon, and again in the prana of Rahu also we rejected.
No. Look here, Mars has a PS.
Yes,
It is in star of moon,
correct.
and moon is placed in 5th house.
Okay.
Star Lord का position तो लेना पड़ता है ना. You have to take the position of the Star Lord,
Yes, sir.
right? So then it is in Saturn sub and Mercury sub. So Mars is giving us 5th cusp through moon, 2 and 11 through Saturn, and Mercury is giving us 2 and 5. So it satisfies all the conditions,
Okay.
Yeah.
right?
Okay, sir. Right, sir.
So-
Just an interesting observation.
Uh,
If we see the moon RP,
moon RP. Okay.
though it
when
is though it is of today,
okay.
it is actually signifying the event.
Yes. In fact, I don't work on RPs because RPs, you know, sometimes they really mislead.
Okay, sir.
So we are not likely to get the appropriate results. And I find that most of the times RPs are not working. Because what we do is every time when we cast a chart, we look for the RPs, right? And I believe that in more than 50% cases, the RPs won't work.
Okay, sir.
So the basic problem is, suppose I cast a chart at my place, RPs are different. You cast a chart at your place, RPs are different. Then the results, they are likely to be different. So I don't believe on RPs. I never cast RPs. I never look into RPs. I simply make the predictions based upon the planetary position and the cuspal position. And in horary chart, it is always good that we look into the script of the planets, their cuspal positions, and finally come out with the conclusions from all this. You can get the results out of this. I always focus on this. I never go for RPs. In this case also, you know, RPs are given. Murthy was telling me that RPs are given, but I will never work on RPs. I will just work on the natal chart that I have. Is this clear up to this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Sir, what about the horary chart, sir? Are you following, sir? RP?
No, I'm not following RPs.
RP, horary chart also?
नहीं horary chart is okay. Horary में भी RP follow नहीं करता. I don't follow RPs. Now, whatever chart is casted on the basis of this, predictions are made.
Achha.
I don't follow RPs. And I never use RPs. RPs are basically, divine numbers. So RPs can give you true results, maybe out of 10 times, 3 or 4 times. But most of the times you are likely to get incorrect results. Any questions, please? Any doubts? Any questions?
No, sir.
Now, to find the exact time period, what we have done so far is that it is Rahu Sukshma and Mars Prana in which the delivery of child is likely to happen, and this time period is from 5:39 to 17:03.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Now we are to find out that what is the exact time at which the childbirth is likely to happen. For this purpose, we will have to move to the transit. Now we have fixed the date 27th 27/3/2006, and the time is 5:40, I suppose. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Now, what is important here? Now, in this present case, we will focus only on the transit of moon. Only on the transit of moon. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
I will not focus on sun. I will not focus on Jupiter. Right?
Yes,
My
sir.
focus will be only on moon because I have already found out the relevant periods. Rahu Sukshma, Mars Prana, date is known to me. Only the time period I need to calculate. Thereby, my focus will be here on moon transit, and finally for knowing the exact time on the ascendant. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you look at the moon transit, Saturn is okay. Saturn, Rashi Lord is okay because Saturn is giving us 2 and 11.
Rahu also?
Rahu is okay.
Yes, sir.
Rahu is okay. Then
Yes.
what about Sun?
Sun not okay.
Not okay. So then what we need to do? We need to advance the time. Right? We need to change Sun from this position.
Sir, एक बार repeat कीजिए, sir. What?
Okay. Now what I did was, now what I am having here is on 27th March, the time that we calculated was 27th March, 5:39:15. Okay, I am taking 5:40.
5:40.
Moon transiting in Saturn sign is okay because Saturn is giving us 2 and 11.
Yes, sir. Rahu also okay.
Rahu also okay. Rahu is giving us 2, 5, 11. Then Moon in Sun sub.
Yes, sir.
That is not okay.
Not okay. Yes.
Why? Because Sun is not giving us 2, not giving us 5, not giving us 11. I already pointed out
Yes, sir.
that Sun and Moon will play no role as far as transit is concerned. Right?
Yes, sir.
Now, I will change Sun to Moon. Is Moon okay? No. Because Moon is also not giving us 2, 5 and 11. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I will have to change Moon. Now I've changed moon to Mars.
Mars.
Mars. Now Mars is okay. Nothing wrong with Mars,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
right? Now what is the problem here? We cannot have Rahu as the sublord. Now you will ask why, right?
Sir.
Now you cannot have Rahu as the sublord. Why Rahu is not selected as the sublord here? Because Rahu is in Sun sub. Rahu is in Sun sub.
Yes, sir.
Now you know that whether it is Kaspal or it is KP, the results are to be given by the star lord, and finally the confirmation is to be done by the sublord.
Yes, sir.
And Rahu here is present in Sun sub. Now being present in Sun sub, Sun is not giving us 2, 5 and 11, thereby Rahu cannot be selected as a sublord.
Yes, sir.
Right? So we have to change Rahu to next, and the next sublord we are likely to have will be Jupiter. Okay? The next sublord that we are likely to have will be Jupiter. Now can we select Jupiter as the sublord?
Oh, yes, sir. Jupiter, it may suitable.
Jupiter cannot be selected as the sublord because Jupiter is in Mars sub-sub. If you check Jupiter, Jupiter is in Mars sub-sub. And Mars is sub-sublord of fourth cusp.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes,
See, when you are checking the transit, in transit also you have to follow the same rules. So Jupiter as sub-sublord is not possible. I'll have to change Jupiter. Now comes Saturn. From Jupiter we change to Saturn. Now can you select Saturn as the sublord?
Saturn also mean the problem.
Saturn has Sun support.
Saturn also rejected, sir.
No, sir. Rejected.
Why it is rejected? Because it is present in the sub of
Sun.
Moon.
no moon.
Moon.
Right? So this
Yes,
is also
sir.
rejected. This is also rejected.
Very difficult.
Mercury. Now the next is Mercury. Can you select Mercury?
Yes.
Check the script.
No, sir.
No. Moon is there. Moon and sun also.
Okay, so Mercury
Yeah.
cannot be taken.
Yes,
Mercury cannot be selected. So change Mercury. After Mercury, you will get Ketu.
Mercury केतु अच्छा फॉरवर्ड जाता है
Yes. Now you get Ketu.
Yes, sir.
केतु also may reject.
Ketu तो okay है.
केतु it is even the star lord of the moon.
सब तो ले सकते हैं ना.
Yes, sir.
Ketu is in the sub of Saturn, which is giving us 2 and 11. Ketu as sublord can be taken. Right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Now, is it clear up to this point? So we have reached a time of 15:30. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now we need to check the ascendant. What is important here is that the ascendant sub-sublord should make a relation with the moon star lord. Ascendant sub-sublord should make a relation or link to the moon star lord.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now Venus, if you look at Venus, it is nowhere linked to Rahu. If you
If I
look
look
at
at
Rahu, if you look
nowhere
at Rahu,
linked to Venus.
it is not linked.
Not linked to Venus. Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes.
it means that
Okay.
Venus cannot be selected as sub-sublord.
Yes, sir.
Right? So we will have to change it. Now it comes Mars. Mars is nowhere related to Rahu.
Sir, Mars sublord. Mars sublord Rahu is there in the sir.
Mars, related है.
Yes, sir.
Just a moment. It is related. Mars.
Yes, sir.
Right? Now Mars has a relation with Rahu.
Yes.
Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Now,
Yes, sir.
here you know the sign lord for the ascendant is Sun. Can you keep Sun as the sign lord?
No, sir.
No. We can keep Sun as the sign lord. Now
Sir,
here a
some
question.
already you have rejected, sir.
No. See, look here. Do you know what is an ascendant? And what sign rises in ascendant? Ascendant is what you do. Ascendant is what? An interplay of sun and moon. When you fix the transit of moon and the transit of sun, then this ascendant automatically rises. It has no role in the transit. It will not participate in the transit. See, look here. What is ascendant? How you define it? Ascendant is the interplay of sun and moon. And during the transit, when you fix the transit of sun and you fix the transit of moon, then the ascendant automatically gets fixed, rises in a particular sign. That is one explanation. The second point is, now sun as a sign lord is not present in 2, 5 and 11. Sun has no PS. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Sun has no PS.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And since it has no PS, therefore it will offer the results of its star lord. The star lord of sun is Jupiter.
Sir.
And Jupiter is giving us 2 and 11. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It means sun qualifies to be the Rashi lord. Do you get this point or not?
Yes, sir.
Sun qualifies to be the Rashi lord. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right? Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Now, so we reached a time of 15 hours and 31 minutes. Now here in moon transit, Ketu as sublord and Ketu as sub-sublord, we will not fix Ketu as sub-sublord. The question is why? Can anyone give me the answer?
Ketu having the star moon sublord.
Ketu cannot be fixed as the sub-sublord because Ketu is present in Venus sub-sub, and Venus is only giving us 11. It is not giving us 2 or not giving us 5. Is it fine? Look here, Ketu 2, 5, 11 दे रहा है, लेकिन Ketu is in the sub-sub of Venus which is giving us 11. वहाँ
Yes,
पे
sir.
we are neither getting 2 nor getting 5. Thereby we need to change Ketu also. अब Ketu को यहाँ से change करेंगे अगर हम, if we change Ketu from this position, then the next one we are likely to have is Venus. Can we keep Venus?
No.
Not possible, right? So then we'll proceed to the next one. Transit, it's always difficult to fix the transit.
Next sun. Sun is not possible.
Sun is not there. Sun is not possible.
Next moon.
Moon is not
Moon
possible.
also possible, not possible. Mars.
Then you get Mars.
Mars.
Okay. Mars is possible.
Mars is the
Mars is possible.
possible.
Mars is possible.
Possible.
Right?
Yes,
Mars
sir.
is okay. Now, when you get Mars here, you get Sun. Sun sub-sub. Sun sub-sub is not related to Rahu. Is it fine? Rahu has no relation with Sun. Neither Rahu is star, sub or sub-sub.
Okay, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So what is better is that we fix Rahu as the sub-sublord. Rahu as the sub-sublord. So Rahu as the sub-sublord, that would mean 1559.
Bahu.
Rahu is directly linked to Rahu. Rahu is moon star lord. Rahu is ascendant sub-sublord. Is it okay? Is this point clear or not?
Sir, here we selected Mars Prana Lord.
हाँ जी.
Mars Prana Lord from 5:39 to 17 hours.
Correct.
Now we are seeing 3:30 time.
We are getting 1559. It's 4 o'clock.
From Mars Prana Lord 5:39 to 5:39 to 17.
So the childbirth has to happen in between this time.
Yes, sir. Here time is
1559.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock approximately. 4
We are
o'clock.
after 5:40.
So the time is approximately 4 o'clock. Yes.
Madam, that is the train timing, madam. So 5 o'clock morning till 17, which is evening 5 o'clock.
So this is 5 o'clock. Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
Morning 5 o'clock to
Morning
evening 5 o'clock.
5:39 to evening. Okay. Yes, sir. 1 day, full day. Okay.
So it has to be in between this time, and that is possible only when the moon transit that suits.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the ascendant, that suits. So ascendant Rahu sub-sublord, Rahu moon star lord, okay. And then moon is in Saturn, that is fine. Rahu, Ketu, and Mars.
Sir. Okay.
Right?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Now, any questions, please?
Sir, just an hypothetical question. Like if say like we are taking a year back, so we would definitely see the Jupiter transit also, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Very true. See, if any event is to happen in, let us say, 6 months to 1 year time, we have to see this Jupiter transit also. If
Okay.
the event happens within 6 months, we look at the sun transit, moon transit. In fact, for 1 month it is moon, for 2 hours it is ascendant, for 1 year it is sun, and more than 1 year it is Jupiter.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So usually what we find is that if we see that the event is going to happen after 6 months, so we focus on Jupiter also, whether Jupiter is going to give us the result during that year or not. And if Jupiter gives us result, then we have to check out which month is likely to happen. The transit of sun is important. And after fixing the transit of sun, then we have to see the day in a month. Moon transit is to be seen.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Right? Now, any questions, please? If anybody wants to ask any question, so you're welcome to ask.
Sir, now this time is correct, sir?
That is approximately close to this time. Approximately close to this time. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask me.
No, you need not about the 8th cusp.
Now, what's your question regarding the 8th cusp?
What is the importance of the 8th cusp?
8th cusp related to what?
For the childbirth.
See, 8th cusp is what? 8th cusp is obstacles. 8th cusp is, now if 8th is relative to 6th, it means enhancement of the disease. 8th and 12th together means what? 8th means what? Hidden things.
Yes.
Okay, 8 means what? Childbirth. Childbirth is also hidden, na? Sometimes, in Vedic also, 8th cusp is related to childbirth.
Yes, sir.
So 8th cusp has so many things to tell. Obstacles, hurdles, and then, anybody who is studying astrology, apart from this, hidden wealth, right?
Yes, sir.
6 to 8th, relation of 6 to 8th in terms of money means enhancement of money. Relation of 6 to 8 in terms of disease means increase in disease, means more fatal disease. 12th is hospitalization. Any more questions, please? If something is not clear, you can ask me. Anything that is not clear, you can ask me. Is it clear to everybody? हाँ जी कहिए.
सर मैं मूर्ति बात कर रहा हूँ सर.
जी मूर्ति जी.
सर किताब में
हाँ जी.
last sentence he wrote on 27/3/2006 she delivered the child at 16:10 hours approximately.
हाँ जी 16:07 के आसपास होगा.
If we fix that time, we will get all the sign lord, star lord, sub lord, sub lord, all are within the 7 planets also.
जी, correct.
Within these 7 planets, we will get.
जी.
Sun, Ketu, Mercury, Rahu, like.
It is Moon is in Saturn, Rahu, Ketu, Mars.
Fifth cusp, co-rulers and its star, है ना?
हाँ जी, it is Mercury, Mars, Ketu, Rahu.
हाँ, वो 7 वो planets में आता.
हाँ जी. They are there. Rahu, Ketu, Mars is there.
She delivered the child on 16:10 hours approximately, बोलता है.
हाँ जी. इसी time पे deliver होगा.
You put the same time there 16:10, we will get everything.
Yes, you are very true. 16:07 if I am not wrong. The exact time is 16:07 and some 15 or 16 seconds. Right? So here instead of Mars sub-sublord, Rahu sub-sublord is preferred. The only difference that we are going to have is, Murthy ji, look here. Just at 4 o'clock, at 15:59, we have Mars as sub-sublord.
15:59, Mars as sub-sublord of Moon.
Yes. Now Mars, if you look at Mars, Mars is giving us 5, 2 and 11 through Moon and Saturn. And it is giving us 2 and 5 through Mercury. And at the same time, we can reject Mars. Yes, one point I omitted here. I did not just focused on that. Mars is giving us a sub-sublord of 4th cusp.
Yes.
So being a sub-sublord of 4th cusp, we cannot keep Mars here as the sub-sublord. Therefore, we need to change Mars. I just missed out this point. That is why I was getting this time of 15:59. You get my point? Mars is a sub-sublord of 4th cusp. So you cannot keep Mars as sub-sublord over here. Thereby, we need to change it. So it is Rahu. Now, if it is Rahu, we get Jupiter as sub-sublord over here. We cannot keep Jupiter as sub-sublord. We need to change it to Rahu. Yes, so it is 16:07. It is 7 minutes past 4. One glaring mistake I did was I just overlooked into the, Mars was a strong significator, and at the same time, Mars is 4th cusp sub-sublord. Therefore, Mars cannot be kept as a sub-sublord of Moon transit. Because Moon has to transit only in planets which give favorable cusp and no negative cusp. And particularly the sub-sublord should not be present in negative cusp. So Mars has to be changed over to the next one, that is Rahu sub-sublord. Rahu itself is not giving any negative cusp.
Sir, इधर फर्स्ट कस्प ascendant cusp sub-sublord Jupiter रखा ना. Jupiter can tally with Rahu ना. Rahu is the sign lord of Jupiter.
No, Rahu itself is Jupiter.
Yes.
So Jupiter. See, the point is, Murthy ji, Jupiter is okay. I do agree to this. Now, instead of Jupiter, if you look at Jupiter and Rahu, Rahu is more stronger than Jupiter. Rahu is more stronger than Jupiter. So that is why Rahu is taken. Jupiter gives us only 2 and 11. Rahu gives us.
Yes. That is the good point. Good point. Very good point.
Rahu is giving us 2, 5 and 11.
Yes, it is a nice point, sir.
Haan ji.
Very good point.
Right, sir.
Now it is okay.
It's okay. So it is 16 hours, 7 minutes.
Okay, sir.
One mistake I did over here, that was by keeping Mars over here. I just missed this point कि Mars is fourth sub-sublot.
Yes.
Actually मैंने वो script नहीं है ना मेरे पास लिखा हुआ. I don't have the script written with me, so that is why I just missed that point. So Mars being fourth sub-sublot cannot be kept as sub-sublot of Moon transit for the fifth cuspal sub-sublot and 11th cuspal sub-sublot. Now the foremost point in such queries is that first of all we need to check the genuineness of the querist. Whatever question the querist has asked, that whether it is a genuine question or it is not a genuine question. Now suppose that the question happens to be ingenuine, then there is no need to proceed further. So to check the genuinity of the querist, we shall look into the moon, the position of the moon. Moon here